I'm going to talk a little bit about this new opportunity that is in front of us today, which is called the Smart Cities mission of the country. How many of you are involved in it in some shape or form in this audience? Okay, so I'm going to assume that most of you would not have understood the whole gamut of opportunities that is there for all of us in this field as we enter into the mission. The mission itself was a grand idea, saying that let's take 100 of our cities in the country and add measurement, add technology, add better design, add integrated thinking, and change how we as citizens of that city would live there. We have to change how we think about that city. We have to start changing the construct under which the cities operate. It is not about a council, it is not about some elected representatives and the IAS officers and they are all arguing whose jurisdiction of various things. It is how do you, and there are different departments in the city. There is water, power, gas, road, security. All of these are different departments and they all have different projects, and we all have benefited from people coming up with different projects for each of these departments and making a mess to an extent out of how we can actually bring everything together. So the Smart Cities mission that got announced last year was one in which the government said, why don't you go back to the drawing board, start thinking about your city in various different dimensions and bring everybody together. Bring your water, power, gas, road, everybody come together and think about how you can reinvent the city. Think about how you're going to refinance the city. Think about how you're going to replan the city. Is there a new part of your town that you want to build? Is there an existing part of your city that you can retrofit with technology, retrofit with better design, and create new opportunities for all of us? So basically, the project started off last year, sometime around June, July timeframe, to say, please go and become a consultant. So people who are in the consulting space, who are in urban planning, who are architects, who are IT gurus, they all came together and about 30, 35 companies were chosen to help all these 100 cities to come up with proposals about these cities. So when the proposals came up later this year in December, last year in December, an evaluation was done, and within a month they announced the top 20 cities who were going to get funded. Incidentally, I will tell you a little bit about my company. While we were just getting formed at that time, we could not participate because, as you know, that startups don't get an opportunity to participate in any government tender because of our eligibility criteria that are there. In fact, they were even disallowed from participating as a consortium partner in any of these bids. But given the speciality that we had in designing solutions, now these solutions are electronics, telecom, IT put together, technology solutions for smart cities, we were invited by 10 out of the 100 cities to participate in informal ways because they could not formally engage us. They paid us through other means to come in. They paid for our travel. They paid for all the workshops that we did for them. And 6 out of the 10 that we worked made it to the top 20. It was a good track record that way. And I'll tell you a little bit about what is happening in this space in terms of the opportunities. All the cities are talking about improving transport infrastructure. All the cities are talking about improving the security infrastructure. All the cities are talking about changing the aesthetics of the city. How does the city look from the walls on the side to how it communicates about the city, the maps, the road signage, digital signage. They're talking about improving intelligent transport. They're talking about water meters because water is a very scarce resource and we are going to see a lot of problems in every city associated with water. So basically, every city is going to put water metering, power meters, gas, infrastructure to go about reading these things from a remote location. We're talking about command centers for security, command centers for traffic, command centers for all of these other infrastructure elements, traffic control, smart buildings, smart hospitals. And all of these things are basically a combination of electronics and embedded systems, telecommunications, and IT. And when I look at IT, there's a combination of operational technology IT and information technology IT, and the combination of these. And then at the other end is a lot of analytics, understanding what the city is doing. In my definition, smart city is about measurement. It is about measuring everything. You are smart when you measure and you improve yourself. So what we have been proposing to all the cities is that figure out a way to measure everything. Figure out a way to measure how many people are traveling. Figure out a way of how much water is being consumed. Figure out a way of counting people coming in and out, cars coming in and out, pay toll. So figure out how to measure anything and everything that is there in the city. Second is, how do you track everything that needs to be tracked? How many vehicles are there in the city? Where are they going? Where are the congestion points? City vehicles. Where are the road rollers, the trucks, the garbage disposal, garbage collection units? Where are they? Measure them and monitor them across the city. That will bring in a lot of transparency as well as accountability in these service provisioning systems across the entire value chain. We are also talking about control. So we first started saying measure, then we said track, and the last thing is control. Controlling water pumps, controlling traffic lights, controlling parking booms. All of these things are essentially a combination of Internet of Things, electronics on one end, combined with telecommunications of all sorts, wireless communications, wireline communications, Wi-Fi communications, low power, wide area networks. So we in GAIA, we are trying to create a nationwide sensor network, which is going to allow various kinds of sensors in a city to come and send information, measure things, track things. And then we are building the IT infrastructure to do a lot of analysis of this. So we have started off by working with water meters, power meters, gas meters, and remotely reading these and giving this information back to the citizens, as well as back to the service providers on the other side. So if you look at the entire gamut of opportunities that are there, we are going to see a lot of startups come up. We are one of the first that has completely dedicated itself to solutions which are wide area, solving problems that are in the wide area, solving problems that are at city-wide, not local area, not limited to a building, but things that are expanding to a city, a state, or actually the whole country. So we'll see opportunities for all of us to step in and provide infrastructure, step in to provide services, step in to provide all the knowledge that is there in the country, can solve all the problems that are there in the country. And we have been kept out of solving this problem so far. We have not put in our collective minds to solve these problems, and here is an opportunity that the government has created for us to step in and provide these solutions. And I'm really excited about it, because every day I step in and we get 4 or 5 calls to go and help some cities to solve some problem. And I think there is a niche which can be explored by all of you to help and create consortiums, create larger entities which can go and bid for these projects. And as Vinitji was talking about just before, I am actually thrilled to see tender after tender every day in every department where we can go and add value. Add value by providing Internet of Things, by providing machine-to-machine technologies, and solving large, complex problems that are there in the country. So I'm going to stop, and I'm available for taking calls and taking questions after this. But if somebody has any specific question that they would like to ask, I'm happy to answer them right away. Thank you. I'm around. Oh, we have got a question there. Thank you. Just go ahead and ask. I'll repeat it. There's a mic.
We are talking about smart cities.
That's right.
That's really something which is going to be a good initiative for India. And that this will generate a hell lot of data. You know? So, and the basic requirement is that those all should also be integrated. I mean, they should be integrated.
Yeah.
Right? So is this, because it will keep on growing, and this is what is even internal opportunity for India itself, where you need to have good integration and all the systems should be, so maybe Mr. Good for Goenka, that corruption can go down to some extent.
Yeah, there's a lot of transparency that is being brought in, absolutely.
So, but this kind of thing, and maybe there will be a hell lot of involvement of IoT, cloud, everything.
Yeah.
Because this is what can make it easier for integration. So is there anything which has been already planned, or this is something?
All of these are being planned in every city. What you just said is being planned in every city. All will require cloud-based solutions to solve various complex problems, transport problems, as I said, parking problems. In fact, simple things are being planned on the cloud today. Not even earlier on, there was a need to have a solution which is independent. The city has to own it. There was a lot of pride in saying, I own this infrastructure. Now there is no such thing. If we are suggesting solutions where all the garbage trucks across the entire country will be controlled by 3 or 4 big, large softwares in the cloud, which is going to track all of them at a central level. Each city doesn't have to implement the solution, and each truck will be, we will charge the cities X amount of money per truck per month. So it's all on a SaaS model, pay as you go, add more, and the cities are now more than happy to get into those kinds of arrangements because they don't have to go in for large capex projects. These are solutions which are tried and tested. They will be brought in by reputed organizations and it will be rolled out. It is already happening.
It's really nice to know. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. You got a question there?
So while talking about smart cities, we need smart people to, go through it. We have been involving technology and all, but do we educating people, or do we have such people who could actually elaborate that thing into us? Because we are living in a era of a smartphone and all of that, but we hardly using some of the features and all. So it should be there has to be something which educating or teaching people what is there for them and how to elaborate more technology.
Absolutely. So it is not about technology. So let me take a step back and tell you that smart cities, the technology component is in single digits. The amount of money that will be spent on just the technology will be in single digits, but still that's a huge amount of money. Okay? It is not about technology. It is about changing behaviors. The amount of money that every city is planning to change behavior alone is also a big amount. I am the program director of Swachh Bharat Mission, which it was not mentioned before, but I spend 3 days a week with the Swachh Bharat Mission in Delhi in the Ministry of Urban Development, and hundreds of crores of rupees of Swachh Bharat Mission is directed to changing behaviors. Because people litter, the government cannot do anything about it until people decide that they are going to stop littering. People have to decide that they will not throw something over here. If you take a look at the tables around you today and see how many of you have not thrown your big thing inside the bowl. Just look at you around you and you will see what we do. This is our behavior. We need a lot of effort. We need to tell people. So what we have done is to go and address the children. We are talking to college children, school children, and trying to go at the grassroots to see how can we change this behavior. Not just in Swachh Bharat, but in smart cities also. It is about telling people how to utilize what is there better and make the first set of initiatives from the government, and we absolutely are confident that there will be people who will start changing their behaviors, and it has happened everywhere. Take a good metro, take a look at your metro, you will see people are keeping it clean. Only because the surrounding is clean and everybody who is around it is enforcing, the citizens are enforcing to keep it clean. If we don't take responsibility for the space that we are in, nobody will. And that is why this mission, this smart city mission, is a very different construct than other projects in the past. Earlier, the bureaucrats used to decide what needs to get done and then they went to the people. If you know that at least more than 2 million people in this country have actually contributed to saying what needs to be done. People have said what needs to get done. So we are quite hopeful that people will say, I want to make this thing happen.